Hook, the mystery behind every crash, every financial crisis, is explained the same way. A bad decision. A greedy institution. An unexpected shock. But here's the problem with that story. If crises are accidents, why do they keep happening in the same pattern? Why do collapses in different decades, different countries, and different markets end with the same result?
Banks survive.
And ordinary people pay the price. So maybe modern financial crises aren't random failures at all. Maybe they're symptoms of a hidden web, one that connects money, debt, and power across the global system. Setting the stage before the web for most of history, financial crises were local. Money was tied to something real: gold, silver, or land. Banks could only lend what they physically held. When trouble came, damage stayed contained. That began to change as banking evolved. Banks realized they didn't need to hold all deposited money at once. They could lend more than they had, as long as confidence remained. This shift quietly transformed money from a physical asset into a promise. And promises could multiply. Origins: debt becomes the foundation. The true origins of the modern financial web appear after large-scale wars. Governments needed massive funding quickly. Raising taxes risked unrest. Borrowing was easier. Banks stepped in, creating money through loans to governments. Here's the crucial detail. Loans create principal, but not the interest needed to repay them. That gap forced continuous borrowing. Debt stopped being temporary. It became permanent. To manage this growing system, central banks were established to stabilize markets and supply liquidity. But stability now depended on credit expansion. The rise in interconnected finance. As the global economy expanded, finance became interconnected. Capital moved across borders. Banks grew larger. Markets became tightly linked. New financial instruments spread risk across the system, making everything appear safer. But risk wasn't eliminated, it was hidden. Confidence grew. Leverage increased. Debt expanded faster than real economic growth. The web was forming. The breaking point: when the system stresses, every system built on expansion eventually meets resistance. Debt grows faster than income. Asset prices disconnect from reality. Small failures begin to appear. Because markets are interconnected, one failure spreads quickly. What might have been a local problem becomes global. This is why modern financial crises move so fast. The web doesn't isolate risk, it transmits it. It's fallout. Who bears the cost? When the system begins to break, intervention follows. Central banks inject money. Governments issue debt. Financial institutions are stabilized. These actions prevent immediate collapse, but they come at a cost. Losses are absorbed by the public through inflation, higher taxes, and reduced services. The system survives, but with more debt and more dependency than before. Failed fixes: why crises return after each crisis, reforms are introduced. New regulations. Stricter oversight, promises of stability. But the core structure remains unchanged. Money is still created through debt. Growth still depends on borrowing. Risk still accumulates during booms, so the web tightens. The next crisis arrives larger than the last. Modern parallels the pattern today. Global debt is larger than the world's total economic output. Central banks intervene more often than ever. Markets react less to fundamentals and more to policy signals. The same cycle repeats. Expansion, stress, collapse, rescue. Each time, financial power becomes more concentrated. 3 takeaways. Takeaway 1. Modern financial crises are systemic, not accidental. Takeaway 2. Interconnected finance spreads risk faster than it spreads stability. Takeaway 3. As long as money is built on debt, crises will continue to repeat. Final thought and call to action: the real danger isn't the next crisis. It's believing the system is fixed. Understanding the hidden web behind modern financial crises is the first step towards seeing how power truly operates. If you want more documentaries that break down money, history, and financial systems with clarity and depth, subscribe to the channel, because the systems you don't see are often the ones that shape your future.